Hey everyone, and welcome to another Game Explained discussion. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by Joe Merrick of Serebii.net to discuss the latest episode of Pokémon Generations, The Vision. So, Joe, like we thought, we've moved to Hoenn, and the focus is on Team Magma. What'd you think?
Oh, I'm just very happy that I completely called it.
Always a good feeling when you can, take a look at the evidence, it's like, okay, it's probably going to do this now.
Yeah, it was a decent enough episode. I do see that we're getting a lot of bits which are literally just before the player character arrives, or as the player character arrives, which I'm not entirely happy with.
I agree. That's the thing. It was cool to see Sceptile and Brendan going through Team Magma base. They seemed badass as ever, especially with all those explosions Sceptile was causing. But I don't know. It really feels like we're missing out by not having characterization given to these characters. I know there's supposed to be like the player inserts and all of that, but it's still, I don't know. It feels like we're missing out on their characters, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think it should really be like either we have a focus on them or we don't touch them at all in this, because this is meant to be the untold stories. Not that this was a bad episode, this was a fun episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. It was a good episode. I definitely enjoyed it, but Brendan is a sticking point. As we've seen with Ethan before, they're just making sure to hide their faces at every opportunity, and they did the same with Red, of course. And it kind of works with Red because we're so used to it already. It's most gave him this mythical status because he is the OG, but now with Ethan and now Brendan, we lose out on that, and it's unfortunate, but I understand why they're doing it. They can't give that characterization to them, but oh well.
Yeah, one thing I did like about Brendan being in it is that when his Sceptile used Leaf Storm, the animation was very, very similar to the animation that Sceptile uses Leaf Storm with in Pokémon. Yes,
that was awesome.
I was very happy to see it like that.
They kind of have this vision now of this is how that move will look like in actuality, not just the canned animation. So yeah, that was really cool, and actually it was kind of nice to just see more of Team Magma, because I'm not, I'm so used to Team Rocket getting all the characterization when it comes to animes, and I didn't watch the Hoenn anime with Ash and company, so I don't really know how they treated Team Aqua and Team Magma there. But to just sort of see them as this organization, and actually pretty well organized from everything you see, all of them lining up, Tabitha telling them to get in, and there was definitely organization to be had here, and you can sort of see why they would be following Maxie, because he does have this cool, calm personality.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the main anime, Team Magma's portrayal, it just didn't quite work. Back in the advanced series, the Groudon Kyogre episodes were really disappointing.
That's unfortunate. But I gotta say, I love this little bit, this, even though it's not canon or anything else, it is the vision of the title. But seeing Courtney have this little view of what would happen if Groudon was successfully revived, and basically it was oh yeah, all my friends would die because this thing just wants to destroy everything. I loved the sheer power on display when it came to Primal Groudon.
Yeah, that's Primal Pokemon. You need to see things like that, and you don't really see things like that. You don't see the huge, powerful destruction happening.
What do you think of Courtney's portrayal? Because I think it caught a little people off guard to see it visualized so much. Because before we got that she's a little nutty thanks to the dialogue, especially in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Well, Omega Ruby, I guess. Now we actually get some real characterization for it, with the crazy eye movements, the way she talks. I think they handled her very well, honestly.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what it was, but I was getting some real Harley Quinn vibes off of her. Not Suicide Squad Harley Quinn, I'm talking sort of animated series sort of style Harley Quinn. Yeah,
kind of nutty, very devoted to this guy, will do anything for him. It was great, and then Tabitha also kind of had a great characterization where he is just sort of this blowhard.
Yeah.
So I actually really enjoyed, Team Magma is not one of my favorite teams. They always kind of look goofy to me, but the way they were handled here, I was okay, I can kind of see the thread. I can see sort of the characterization. They had personality to them.
Yeah, and It's a bit interesting that they chose to go with Team Magma over Team Aqua in this.
Mm-hmm.
It could be because the Team Aqua admins aren't as colourful characters, so to speak. Matt and Shelley, they're just they're alright, but with Courtney being crazy.
That helps a bit, yes. I guess that bringing up Team Aqua, do you think the next episode will focus on Team Aqua? Like, my thought was sort of like have another section of a confrontation against Team Aqua, just have maybe the focus of the trainer instead. But do you think they'll go with something completely new instead?
That's a really hard call. I mean, from the stuff we've seen, there is going to be something with Kyogre.
Yeah.
Because Kyogre is on the poster. So what we could see is part of Team Aqua trying to resurrect Kyogre. I also think we'll probably get something with Zinnia and Rayquaza.
Yeah, that seems likely to have Team Magma, Team Aqua, Zinnia for our 3 Hoenn episodes.
Yeah, they are very safe bets, but then you have to think, where will Luca be? Because Luca's been in every generation so far of this. Every generation so far.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, theoretically, he could instead of having May, since they have not shown any of the female player characters yet, they could show Looker dealing with Team Aqua.
Yeah, that's a possibility. It could have Looker teaming with Team Aqua to stop Team Magma.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Because in the games, you do somewhat team up with Team Aqua against Team Magma, or Team Magma against Team Aqua.
The only time it was both was during Emerald, which I actually really enjoyed to see you having to deal with 2 different teams.
Yeah, that's something that hasn't really happened since until Sun and Moon.
Yeah, Sun and Moon it might give it that, which, hey, I'm all for that. I love 3-way battles and everything, where it's not just 2 people against one other, it's this versus this versus this. And it's I find those dynamics really interesting, and I think that's why I enjoyed Emerald and how they handled all that stuff. But obviously this is based on Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, considering we have the designs of the character designs from those games, and the conspicuous keystone in Maxie's glasses.
Yeah,
I gotta say, it was just a generally good episode, but I don't have a whole lot to say about it otherwise.
No, it was an episode where it's not really anything surprising happening. It is just basically the lead up to a little part in the Lily Cove Team Magma hideout. That's kind of an issue I have. What I'd like is some self-contained stories which then relate to parts of the game rather than just build up to a little part of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the self-contained stories like Usain was definitely one of the highlights, and I don't know if they're going to be able to get that type of I don't know if they'll be able to do that same type of thing with Hoenn unless they focus entirely on, well, I guess they could focus on Zinnia leading up to her confrontation with the trainer in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire right before the I forget what the whole epilogue was called, but yeah. Or they could just, like, as you said, focus on Looker and Aqua, and they're doing something like that. But I don't know if I could see any self-contained stories happening in this one.
There could be one, which I've been thinking about, which I've been thinking maybe dealt with in Sun and Moon, but it might not. You go to the battle resorts in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and you find Looker, and he has no memory.
Yeah, wouldn't that be interesting if all of a sudden it did shift focus and we just kept checking with Looker and now he has no memory, and then Gen 4 he's trying to get his memory back while still investigating all this stuff. That would be wild.
I mean, I was building up with the theory of Looker losing his memory after being in Sun and Moon and getting killed or eaten by an Ultra Beast or something like that.
Man, that's a dark way to end this series.
Well, maybe not killed.
Yeah. I'm curious whether they are going to reference Looker losing his memory in those games. That'd be interesting.
That would be nice. And if not in the games, then I'd like to see something about that in Generations.
Yeah.
Because Looker does seem to be a recurring character.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know what I actually like to see Generations address? This has nothing to do with Hoenn at all, but just in the future. That ghost girl from X and Y.
Well, there have been ghost people since Gen 4 in the old chateau.
Mm-hmm. But for some reason, the one in X and Y in Lumio City is the one that sticks out the most to me, because I just remember going up there, like, doing my general, okay, let's explore every single building, see what happens. You're not expecting something ghostly to happen in the Lumio City, and all of a sudden, everything stops, this girl comes up, says, "You're not the one," and leaves. I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, that would be something which I hope they touch on, if not in this, but in Sun and Moon. But I don't know, I think with the ghost stuff, they're just putting it in for the sake of putting it in.
Yeah, just having those little moments for you, but oh well. But, well, any final thoughts on episode 7?
Not really. Got to see some cool Pokemon attacks. We got to see a bit of battling, just from Sceptile going through, destroying the grunts. It was a good episode. Yeah,
that's what I think. This is a pretty solid episode. Nothing remarkable, but still a lot of good moments in it, and nothing really stands out as bad, other than the disappointment that we're not getting to see, the trainers fully in action. So, yeah. Alright, well, I think that covers it for our Pokemon Generations discussion, so thank you for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And Joe, where can they find you at?
At Serebii.net, or on Twitter at Joe Merrick, or at SerebiiNet.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys can expect some Pokemon Sun and Moon demo coverage from us very soon. From both Joe and ourselves, so yeah, be on the lookout for those. But, of course, stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Pokemon and other things gaming too. Until next time, bye.